Welcome to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we dive deep and answer the ultimate question: how did you hack into tech sales? Each week, we bring you inspiring stories, proven strategies, and insider tips from top performers who've cracked the code to break into tech sales and thrive. Whether you're just starting out, making a career pivot, or ready to level up, this is your go-to space for actionable advice and real-world success stories. Let's crack the code together, because hacking into tech sales isn't just a dream, it's your next move. Now with your host, the founder of Tech Sales Funnels and the tech sales hacker himself, Dayvisson DaSilva.
Let's see. Welcome everyone to the Tech Sales Fun podcast. I'm super excited. This is Dayvisson DaSilva, your host, the tech sales hacker. Today I'm bringing someone that, for me, it has always been an example. During the time that I worked at Microsoft, she's out. I was super positive, optimistic. I was with a big smile. Sometimes I'll stay very long at the office, and she would come by and say, "Go home, Daveson." And then sometimes I would go home, and then I'll see her car still in the parking lot. So we were competing who stayed the longest in the office. Super hard worker. I'm super excited to hear her story and all the things that she has done in tech sales. So I'm going to bring Sandee to the stage. Sandee.
Hello, Dayvisson. Thank you so much for asking me to be here. I'm very happy.
Thank you so much. As you can see, a big smile already. Super excited. Um, I have no idea where this conversation is gonna go, but I really want to hear more about your career, where you're coming from, probably maybe challenges in tech sales or wins, big wins. It's the beginning of a new fiscal year at Microsoft, and Sandy is doing an amazing job as a sales engineer at Microsoft. So how about we start at a really high level and we kind of go down a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you're up to, the things you like outside of tech sales.
Okay. Yes. I am from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I live in Fort Worth right now. I have been in I had been in the telecommunications space for probably a very long time, actually, for like 15, 20 years or something like that. And basically, I was enjoying that. From an education perspective, I have a BS in communications management or telecommunications management, and I have a MBA as well with a concentration in finance. And you mentioned, us staying late and who compete for who's going to stay the latest. Actually, the biggest reason why I was staying late is because I was pursuing my master's in cybersecurity, and so
Okay.
after working, I would stay late to do like homework and write my papers and all those kinds of things. And fortunately, it all paid off. Finally, I just graduated with my master's of cybersecurity in May.
Nice.
So all those
Congratulations.
late nights, thank you. All those late nights paid off, if you will. But yeah, I'm pretty simple. I just, I really enjoy, obviously, cybersecurity since I, pursued the master's in it. But you talk about, what are my ups and downs or what have you. I look at this, I think, from a different lens as uh, a
Mhm.
lot of a different lens than some of the other tech sales people, because I refer to it as accidentally falling into cybersecurity or tech
Mm.
sales. Um,
Mm.
so
Okay.
yeah, that's
We're gonna talk about that. We're
okay.
gonna, I want to hear more about that. And as you can see, everyone, in tech sales, things are always changing. You have to stay up to date. You have to always be learning and pursuing a master's degree. That's amazing, right? After work, after hours, and if you want to stay afloat, if you want to stay up to date, I mean, cybersecurity is one of the biggest topics that we talk about: AI, cybersecurity, security, and data.
Hmm.
So here's Sandy. There's a reason why she's in the role that she is. That she's at Microsoft because So as you can see, she's a hard worker and she gets the job done. Great example, Sandy. Thank you for sharing that. How did you accidentally fell into tech sales? How did you hack into tech sales? Right? How did you start
Exactly.
your whole career?
You know what? I'm going to use that from now on, Davidson. That's actually pretty cool. I hacked into cybersecurity tech sales. So uh, back in 2018, I was actually laid off from a job that I had been on for 13 and a half years. They actually decided to outsource that whole division. So when I started there, this division was new. So 13 and a half years later, they decided to just take that division and outsource it. And
Mm,
so my job was eliminated. And so um, I, had it kind of threw me for a spin or for a loop for like maybe 2 or 3 days because it's like, I had been at this
mm,
company for so long, but then I got excited, right? Because it was like, I did this. It's time to do something different. And lo and behold, the Texas Employment Commission, they had this program where they offer free training on these
interesting.
three different tracks, right? There was project management, which I had been a project manager certified since 2005.
Mm,
Then there was supply management or supply chain, which I was like, nah, that doesn't sound interesting to me at all. But then there was cybersecurity. So then I was
mm,
like, yeah, I'm going to do cybersecurity. I think that that's the wave of the future, right? And
yeah.
so I proceeded in, I basically was going to school and going to networking events with this class. And at the end, I was supposed to be having um, four certifications. So there was certified ethical hacker, which I was able to study for and earn. There was Security Plus. There was a foundational one from Microsoft. I think it was called DTA or something like that.
Mm,
And then I was also supposed to get my CISP. But before I got a chance to start studying for the CISP, I actually got a job.
mm,
So with this training, I realized that this was an area that I didn't know I needed in my life, and that it just totally, I was totally geeked out to be in cybersecurity and learning it. And my idea was, is I wanted to combine project management with cybersecurity. That was going to be my thing to kind of, dovetail out of being unemployed, if you will.
mm,
So I was able to get a job doing just that. I was a project manager in cybersecurity. At the time, I really set my focus and set my targets. I became really intentional about what I wanted to do. And so I had actually set two target companies that I wanted to work for. Um,
mm.
so one was Southwest Airlines, and then the other one was Microsoft. And
Oh wow.
so
Okay.
after about a year, I actually got a position at Southwest Airlines, but it was through a contractor. But I was still there,
Mm,
and I enjoyed it, and
good.
learned a ton while I was there. But at the same time, I was still applying to Microsoft because that was the mecca. That's where I was trying to go ultimately. And so I was applying for all of these project management positions because that was my background, right? One day on uh, LinkedIn, I got
Mm,
a message out of the blue about, hey, just reviewed your resume. You have a lot of,
wow.
qualifications that look good. Would you be interested in informational? I almost turned it down, Davidson. I thought it was a joke, but she assured me it wasn't a joke, and so I went for the informational, and then got picked for the next loop, and then had a 3-hour interview here at Microsoft.
Yep.
And after it was all said and done, my manager was, I felt like I had bombed the technical part because I was
Yeah.
just so nervous. Um, I was just so nervous. And he was like, oh, I know you feel like you didn't do well, but you did. But the most important thing is we see you have a
Mm,
growth mindset. And so if you're
mm,
willing to commit to the upskilling of, the 1 year upskilling that it's going to take for you to get onboarded, you know, we'd love to have you here. And I was like, are you kidding? Yes, I'm there. And
you're
so,
speaking my language. I'm
yeah,
learning.
yes, yes. So that's why I say I accidentally fell into tech sales because when I first heard sales, I was turned off immediately.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but then I learned more about the role and understood that it was more technical than sales. That's when I got geeked about it. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Yeah, let's do it."
That's amazing. Well, so if you let me review what she just said so you don't miss anything here. She was laid off, right? And kind of didn't know what to do. And then during the transitional time, she found a resource from the Texas, I forgot now the name,
Employment
training, yeah,
or
free
workforce,
training,
whatever they call it.
workforce, free training, three options, cybersecurity, visionary, right here. So, and then and then got into project management, which was more aligned to what you wanted to do and prior experience, but continue to apply to Microsoft. I don't know if everyone heard, but LinkedIn. I tell people all the time. She was active on LinkedIn. Someone knocked the door, came to her, so her profile was probably good and had a good message, and then got the interview to the interview process. That's the tech sales hacker right there, right? You got the code, and you went all the way to hacking to Microsoft. Wow, that's amazing. That's not everyone can tell. Can tell the same story. Like that, I was fortunate too. Like it was a blessing. It was a huge blessing.
Indeed, a blessing indeed. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now, uh, cybersecurity. It's like one of the areas that everybody talks about it. It's super hot. I like to play into the whole hacking into tech sales analogy because it's really hard to for organizations to be secure. To have all the layers of security, cybersecurity. Is that any? How is the day to day conversation with clients though? Like, what do you usually talk about? What do you sell? Like, what exactly you do on your day to day on your role? It's a mix of sales, a mix of tech, being a little bit techy that gets you geeky and excited. Tell a little bit more about the day to day summary.
Gotcha, will do. So, the role I was in or am in is it was referred to as technical specialist, but they actually just rebranded it to now it's solution engineer, security solution engineer. And so basically, what I do is it's actually so I have the very best part of sales in my that I deal with in my role because when I first heard sales, I was like, I don't want to do sales because I know it's all about the quotas and numbers, and I don't want to do that part. I just want to talk about tech. And so that's how this role is, right? So there are other sellers in my team, I guess, and there's a sales account sales team. So there are other people in my team that take care of the customer relationship, right? Like who's the CISO? Have we talked to them? What are they missing? Those kinds of things. And so if I'm brought into the conversation when the customer wants to know more. They have identified their pain points. Sometimes they haven't identified their pain points, but that's my job, right? Is to discover and demystify, you know, what they actually need in order to improve their security. And so, since I am a security solution engineer, I actually work with basically all of our security stacks. So that's
Okay.
Defender, Microsoft Defender, which is our threat protection, Microsoft Purview, which is our data security stack, and then there's Microsoft Intra, which is our identity and access management solution. So I basically actively listen and intuitively listen to the customer to um, decrypt or what have you, or to glean what their requirements are and where they need to shore up their security, and then advise them on how, basically what they need, and then I actually will put a Microsoft solution with that. So I don't want to just come out the box and start talking about you know the solutions. I talk about
Products.
first what they need, and then that helps to build trust, right? And then I can actually address, oh, okay, well, you need to improve your security posture around your data because you're getting ready to adopt generative AI. Let's talk about Microsoft Purview because we have a solution for that. And then I go into actually teaching, if you will, about Microsoft Purview, what it does, its capabilities, features, all the things, answer their questions, and then I'll probably even do like a demo. So we have demo tenants where we actually have all of these solutions spun up, and I can actually go in and um, show them how the solutions work. And usually after one meeting, it's good, but sometimes there are subsequent meetings to follow up and deep dive on certain things. So my role is more technical than it is sales, which
Okay.
is what I love.
I want to talk a little bit more about that because a lot of people that listen to the podcast or that even follow me, they are thinking about transitioning to sales, right? So sometimes they're technical. They're like, can I really do it? Or they have that perception of, that you had, right? I don't want to do sales. I don't want to have the quotas and that pressure, or, I just want to be solution driven, right?
Yeah.
How what kind of skills do you think, because you came from project management to be a solution engineer now or technical specialist, um what would you tell to those people that are like kind of on the fence, like, to try to consider making that pivot, like that change?
Right. So, fortunately, I was able to transfer a lot of the skills that I gained over the years of my career life into sales, right? I've always been in kind of customer facing roles and things of that nature. And
Mm,
so, being customer obsessed, if you will, which is like a tagline here at Microsoft, but I was customer obsessed long before I got to Microsoft, right? So that the interaction with the customers definitely came second nature for me. But I love the way that I'm able to just kind of sort of build relationships with them. So that would be one thing, being able to build relationships with people, being able to bring them in, because often it's said that people don't necessarily buy your product, they buy you, right? So
mm,
that's you got to kind of sort of pull them in, get them to trust you. So that's a thing with active listening, not trying to just throw uh, product names at them off the bat, really listening to them. And I find that once you get them comfortable with you, then you can introduce different things or what have you. So just that kind of building rapport or having the
mm,
ability to build rapport, that consultative piece, right? Just being able to listen for what they're saying and listen for what they're not saying so that you can help just basically deliver or determine what their requirements are, because oftentimes the customer doesn't even they don't even know what they need.
no, they don't know, right?
Yeah, so it's about just really discovering that with them, right? And so I'm not here to tell them you need this. I'm here to discover what it is they need, and then just say, hey, you know what, we've got something that may help you with that, and then introducing them to that. But yeah, definitely, I would say the ability to listen, the ability to build trust, build rapport, and you do have to have a high tech um, aptitude, because security is changing just tremendously at breakneck speed. That was one of the hurdles that I got when I first got here, because it
Mm,
was like drinking through a fire hose. Right, there's so
right.
much information. So number one, I had no idea about the Microsoft security products, so I had to learn the products, and then talk to and teach other people about it on the phone
Hmm.
or on Teams or what have you. So it's not easy, but it's worth it, and it's a whole lot of fun. And so and you won't get bored, because I mentioned how at the beginning these it was kind of intimidating, if you will, because the technology changes so much and so fast, and every year or every even month it's exponentially growing, and so you're constantly having to learn. So that whole thing about always learning and being a learn it all, you really have no choice here, because if you don't, you won't be
Mm,
here. um,
that's really,
because the technologies, we're constantly investing in the technologies, things are changing at breakneck speed. And so that's what's so exciting. And we're also on that kind of cutting edge of a lot of things, as far as AI and, different types of solutions. And so it's a blast. But if I had to say, a couple of things, I think that I've probably said them over and over at this point, but just, learning how to build rapport, and then staying, have a growth mindset and be willing to jump in there, because these technologies are are growing all the time.
yeah, I love how you said you never get bored, because that's one of the things I love about tech. That there's no way you can get bored.
No way.
You
No.
go on vacation, you come back, that is like
Oh yeah,
completely new.
it happens all the time. I might go away for a week or something, and I come back and there's three new functionalities that one of these applications, one of these solutions has added, and so you got to go in and learn that so that you can teach your
Okay.
customers.
Yeah, and what I like a lot about your experience is that your manager call off from the beginning, and what he saw in you was that potential to continue to learn, that you had that growth mindset, right? He wasn't too concerned about you know uh, anything, almost anything else, but he saw a good fit that you would continue to ramp up,
Hmm.
because that's probably one of the biggest traits that you should have as a in tech sales, right?
For sure.
So he called that one off, and he prepared the way for you to learn, and he even said, "Hey, you're gonna have about a year to ramp up." So that's everyone listening to this. It's hard, it's challenging, but it's worth
So
it.
worth it.
And you're never gonna get bored, and you're always gonna be drinking from fire hose. But it's exciting.
Yeah, the fire hose gets smaller and smaller, but it's still a fire hose.
Yeah, it does. Oh wow. Okay, so there's so many ways we can go here. I want to dive a little bit deeper into. We talked about cybersecurity. I know right now the whole AI conversation is so hot, and um, what is your take on that? Like, how AI is changing the whole security kind of I wouldn't say industry, but
It
that
is.
piece of the business,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
And also, like, if someone's listening to this right now and they want to get into tech sales, like for you was cybersecurity, right? If someone's starting right now, or if someone wants to ramp up their career, how important it is to learn AI, and what would you recommend them to even start? Because it's just so much.
Yes, indeed. So I think AI is going to be, well, it's not going to be, because it's here, right? And it's a huge part of cybersecurity, as well as it is most other industries, actually. And I think that the need for security and the platforms that we offer um, is going to be important, because you've got the bad guys, the threat actors or the bad actors or what have you, they're using AI in order to make these attacks. So, if we're defending against, what they're putting out there, we've got to be able to use the same kind of tools. And we can also implement AI to help, lighten that load, if you will.
Yeah.
So it is imperative that that companies and individuals are actually aware of the cybersecurity or the security of their data when they're using it in generative AI. Because obviously, if you, let's say for instance, if you're a hospital, you don't want your users copying and pasting PHI, that's personal health information, into like a Google Gemini. Now, no knock against Google Gemini. It's just the fact
Right.
that you don't want your information out there training models, and and being subject to being visible by who knows what, right? So you want
Mhm.
to definitely protect your data as it's being used in generative AI. I think that the field is wide open, and I would suggest anyone, whether tech sales is the subject of today's talk. But I would
Yeah.
say with any industry, get
Mm,
some AI exposure, understand what it is. I think that a lot of people are afraid of it. I think that the cure for being afraid of it is learning more about it. And if you
yeah.
learn more about it, and then intentionally, go towards it and learn more, work with it, research about it, read about it. I think that it will take some of that fear away. But yeah, as far as in tech sales, it's because everyone needs security, right? And Microsoft is in a very unique position because not only do we have security, but we also have AI, AI solutions. So, it just kind of goes hand in hand. And I think that we have a significant point of view, or setting, or position. Sorry, we
Mm,
have a wonderful position in that we have both arms of that, and they're working symbiotically with each other in order to make sure that AI is safe and that we're using AI in security as well.
mm.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
Microsoft definitely leading the way on that. Even with this whole AI revolution, I remember when I was there, and when the whole open AI, Microsoft, all those things started, it was just a boom, right? It just opened the door to this
it's, can you believe it's
moment.
probably been less than 18 months?
I know it's not crazy how the world completely changed in 18 months.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you're a visionary. What do you think's gonna be in 5, 10 years?
Oh,
What's your
man.
take? Like, can you I don't know, give some wild sandy prophecy estimation of?
Oh, my word. I think that um, I don't think that my mind is capable of even fathoming or understanding or envisioning what our world would be like in 3 years, let alone 5 or 10.
That's
Um, I don't think that I have the inventory in my mind to be able to wrap my head around describing what that's going to look like.
the processing power.
Exactly. But I would just say for anyone, and then I'm sorry, you asked me another question that I didn't ask or answer. Like what would you do, or what can you do in order to start pivoting towards a career in tech sales? I
Yeah.
would say, um, obviously certifications help.
Mm,
In my mind, I think that they may be losing a little bit of steam. So be very selective in the ones that you get. I would start at like a security plus, something with a foundation of cybersecurity, so that you don't accidentally fall into cybersecurity. That you have the foundation. And by the way, that was a prime reason why I went back for my master's in cybersecurity, because I
mm,
felt like I had this jar, right? And you have this jar and you put all these big rocks in it. But even when you fill the jar up with the big rocks, there's still spaces in between the rocks, right? And
yeah.
so getting my master's in cybersecurity helped me fill in, like pouring sand in there,
Yeah.
to fill in the blanks, right? Because I had just gotten dropped right in the middle of it. So
Mm,
I would suggest getting some foundational cybersecurity courses, and take courses or certifications, whichever way you want to do that, and ramp up on the technical pieces. And
mm,
then set your intention towards that. I know maybe some people don't believe in this or what have you, but I think that when you're very intentional and deliberate, uh, the universe has a way of bringing you to what you're thinking about, what you're targeting. And prime example of that is when I set my intention. I want to work at Southwest Airlines. I want to work at, Microsoft. Uh, you
yeah.
know, and even before that, I was like, I want to work on a job where I can do project management at a cybersecurity company. All three of those happened because I set my intention and followed it up with work.
Nice. That was a really way to kind of wrap this up, because career development is all about intention. It's all about you taking the reins. It's all about you planning. Of course, we depend on the, the external, the universe you mentioned, God, and all that. But
For sure.
But you have to be intentional. You have to plan, and you have to get the certifications. You have to do to
Hmm.
put the work and the things that you can control. I love that. That's being proactive. That's being uh, you know not leaving to chance, right? Your career.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
told you the time was gonna fly. It's almost 30 minutes here. I can we can go on and on and on. I don't wanna. I know you have to other things to do, but I appreciate your time. I wanna close with this. Sandy, have been tech sales for a few years now. How many years? Like five. I'm looking at LinkedIn profile here.
Yeah, it's 4.5, but yeah, 5. Just say 5.
Let's count Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
5. What's the biggest lesson you have learned working for big tech like Microsoft? Because I know a lot. I mean, we're talking about the top, right? And a lot of people are trying to get into Microsoft, and they're trying to work. They might be in tech sales already, but they want to get into Microsoft or they want to work for Microsoft. Um, what's the biggest thing you have learned in working for Microsoft? Like, if you can summarize, I know it's hard.
Yeah,
That's
I would say the biggest
like the
lesson.
most exciting part of your job, right? I mean, what have you learned?
Say again.
Like, what have you learned? One thing, and then like the most exciting part of your job.
Okay. So one thing that I've learned working at Microsoft is um, just like, and this is more probably like a life lesson, but it basically kind of re-emphasized lessons that I kind of was already felt like was the case. But basically, if where you end up, you really have uh, the power, or you're given all the tools that you need to get where you need to go. You just have to have the right mindset. um, you have to work towards it. You look at the end result, right? And then work your way back in order to create or curate a path to get there, right? And so that's basically what I would do when it comes to learning the new technology, right? It's like, okay, I want to get to this point, and so what do I need to learn? Okay, I need to learn this. Okay, how can I learn this? Okay, here's some resources over here. I'm going to get these. So basically, um, it's in your hands, literally. Like, you just have to really have the mindset. And I know it's hard. It's, everybody's talking about mindset these days, but it truly is the biggest part, right? If you're humble and you have a growth mindset, and to be coachable, right? A lot of times we will find people who are giving us um, advice on how to do things, but then we don't do anything with that information. So,
Mm,
we're not open minded in that way. So I think that it's important to have the right mindset, work towards your, be intentional, be coachable, um, and really just take the reins of your own career, because only you can control it, right? And you can only control what you can control, obviously, but go ahead and control those things that you can control. Sometimes we're just like, I don't know, this always happens to me, and blah, 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 blah. No, a lot of times if you want things to change, you have to change them. So I don't know if
awesome.
that really answered your question, but
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does. I I can see where you're coming from, and how once you get into those the big tech organizations like a Microsoft, like
hmm
you can get lost. Like
yeah.
you can literally get lost and just go through the motions. But you literally have to take control of your career. You have to be strategic, and that's what the word that I heard for you summarizing is being strategic, being intentional, being proactive in your career development.
And also think of yourself as a brand, right? Because
Mm,
you definitely want to always, present yourself in a way that people will remember you, because oftentimes when you have the right mindset and you do the work, it's going to get noticed, right? And then people will start talking about you in good ways, even when you're not in the room, right? They're going to start advocating for you. And it's so funny. There are a lot of times when people will people will say something like, "Hey, oh, you're Sandee. I heard about you and this," and so and that's what you want. You want people to be talking good about you when you're not in the room, and that goes a long way as well. So, um, but yeah, I
Love
love,
it.
love my job, love my company.
It's awesome.
I'm glad I got
I
to
love
work in
working
there.
craft. I recommend people all the time. I miss learning, being every day on the ground, learning those solutions and drinking all that water that comes of knowledge. But it's you were a great example, Sandy. I appreciate your time here today.
My pleasure.
You have a good spirit, good, amazing human being, and don't stay too long in the office today because you don't have more master's degree.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. Yeah, I just wanted to glad that I had the opportunity to talk to you and have this great conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining everyone today. And this is Sandy for you. Connect with her on LinkedIn. She's a great resource for you when it comes to cybersecurity. If you want to learn more about cybersecurity in Microsoft, she's your point of contact right there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Davison. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we crack the code and uncover the strategies to break into tech sales. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to hack their way into this exciting career. Remember, hacking into tech sales isn't just a goal, it's a mission. Let's keep hacking, learning, and winning together. Catch you next time.